Good afternoon again, everybody. Let's begin our Cathay Pacific HSBC Hong Kong Sevens pre-tournament press conference. First of all, I would like to introduce our special guests joining us today.
各位傳媒朋友，大家好！我哋喺記者會開始之前，首先等我哋同大家介紹一下今日嘅特別嘉賓。
Please help me welcome Mr. Douglas Langley, World Rugby Competitions and Events Manager, Sevens.
國際欖球理事會賽事及活動經理蘭尼先生。
Mr. Peter Schatz, Chairman of the Hong Kong Rugby Union.
香港欖球總會主席陳彼得先生。
And especially on the top table, our guest coaches, Mr. Ben Ryan, coach of Fiji. Mr. Neil Powell, coach of South Africa. Sir Gordon Tietjens, coach of New Zealand. And Gareth Baber, coach of Hong Kong. I would like now to invite Mr. Schatz to open today's proceedings by saying a few words on behalf of the Hong Kong Rugby Union.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Hong Kong Rugby Union, it's my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 2016 Cathay Pacific HSBC Sevens. We're delighted to once again welcome all our friends from the media, our colleagues from World Rugby, and to all the teams to the event. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome and my best wishes to everybody involved with the Hong Kong Sevens, and I'm absolutely sure that this event is going to be another great one on the calendar. A special welcome to the Cayman Islands, their first time in Hong Kong. And as we all look ahead to the action on the pitch as we build for the Olympics at the end of this year, I'm sure that the teams at the top of the World Seven Series are going to be as competitive as always. As we turn our attention to the qualifying tournament, I know our Hong Kong team is very keen to show what they can do. And I'm sure the other 11 sides, all competing for that coveted spot in the Sevens World Series next year, have turned up to play as well. So in closing, I'd like to thank our long-term sponsors, Cathay Pacific, HSBC, for their continued support to us and to all our other sponsors that help make this event what it is. And finally, in closing, to the media and to the teams. Good luck, guys. I hope it all goes extremely well. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Peter. 頭先石彼得先生講到，佢首先歡迎在座各位啦，嚟自世界各地嘅訪客、男女子7人賽嘅參賽球隊，同埋參加呢個星期其他唔同賽事嘅隊伍，仲有首次參賽嘅開曼群島。佢亦都提及到喺系列賽嘅頭3位之間，其實只有3分之差，而澳洲同埋美國亦都係緊隨其後。其中有12支挑戰今屆賽事嘅隊伍之中，有11支係今年嘅準奧運球隊，而香港好榮幸可以再次舉辦系列賽嘅升班戰。最後佢想多謝國泰航空同埋匯豐多年嚟嘅鼎力支持，同埋各個單位同心協力咁樣可以令到賽事成功。亦都希望各位會踴躍參加今個星期其他嘅欖球活動。
I'd now like to invite Mr. Douglas Langley to the podium to say a few words on behalf of World Rugby.
有請國際欖球理事會賽事及活動經理蘭尼先生致辭。
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm proud and delighted to welcome you all on behalf of World Rugby to round 7 of the HSBC World Rugby 7 Series, the Cathay Pacific HSBC Hong Kong Sevens. This is my first Hong Kong, and I'm well aware of the considerable shoes I'm filling here. Beth, may you rest in peace, gone but never forgotten. What a series we've had so far. By every measure, the biggest and best yet. 10 iconic global destinations, including 5 new rounds in Cape Town, Sydney and Vancouver, with Singapore and Paris still to come before we finish in London. It is no coincidence that this weekend already we will pass 500,000 spectators and ultimately smash the total attendance record for the season by close to 150,000. And what a spectacle they've watched. On the pitch, it could not be tighter at the top, with 3 points separating the top 3 sides, Fiji, South Africa and New Zealand. But all the teams and athletes continue to do the sport proud. 4 months from today, history will be made when our women's sevens athletes kick off the first ever sevens event at the Olympic Games, followed swiftly by the men. And there is a true Olympic feel here in Hong Kong too, with not 16 but 28 teams vying for honours during the weekend. 16 bidding to win the prize Cathay Pacific HSBC Hong Kong Sevens, and 12 battling to book their place on next year's series. We will have another packed stadium. Millions more will be watching and following around the world on television, web and social platforms. The sport is now firmly established on the global calendar. Before I finish, I would like to wholeheartedly thank the Hong Kong Rugby Football Union for your utmost professionalism and dedication and support to me in my first year. I'd like to thank the teams, the players, our sponsors HSBC, DHL and Cathay Pacific, and of course you, the media, for portraying the sport in a positive light. Have a great weekend and enjoy the sevens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. 頭先蘭尼先生提及到佢今次係第一次嚟到香港，但係已經可以感受到呢個城市嘅活力。喺今季之中，總共會有10個分站，精彩嘅賽事亦都陸續有嚟。新嘅分站今季有開普敦、悉尼、溫哥華、新加坡同埋巴黎，而終點會係倫敦。連同今個週末，今季入場嘅人數將會突破50萬大關，相信今季亦都將會超過上年總人數有15萬人之多。而4個月之後，7人欖球賽將會第一次登上奧運嘅舞台。今次喺香港將會有16隊爭取冠軍嘅殊榮，而外圍賽12隊會爭取唯一可以升班嘅席位。最後佢提及到今年除咗大球場會爆滿之外，世界各地數以百萬嘅球迷將會透過電視、互聯網同埋社交嘅平台可以欣賞賽事。
And now let's turn to the team coaches who have kindly joined us here today.
唔該晒蘭先生，而家我哋將可以集中喺我哋嘅注意力放喺一班在座嘅教練身上面。
Our coaches today represent the 3 front runners on the HSBC World 7 Series entering the Hong Kong tournament, and the coach of our own Hong Kong Men's 7, former Welsh 7 star Gareth Baber.
今日我哋有4位前列種子隊教練，加上主隊香港嘅教練比加力先生。
Before we open the floor to questions from the media, I would like to invite each of the coaches to make a short opening statement about their preparations and expectations for this weekend's competition. Let's start with our series teams, each of whom are separated by only 2 points in the top 3 spots on the series table. We'll start with some comments from series leader and Fiji coach Ben Ryan.
Just on behalf of the Fiji Sevens team, we've had a brilliant time in Hong Kong so far, looked after very graciously by the Hong Kong Rugby Union. We come with a strong side, many of which have won the Hong Kong title in the past few years. The preparation's been average back at home with all the inclement weather, and I think a lot will be back on their radios this weekend listening as the power cuts hit the nation. But we're in good shape, and you can tell there's a different feeling amongst the group, as there always is coming to Hong Kong. And we're looking forward to what's going to be 3 terrific days of competition.
Thanks coach, and now let's follow up with South Africa coach Neil Powell.
Good afternoon everybody. Yeah, I think for us coming to Hong Kong, it's a tough season. The turnaround between tournaments is really short, so I think for preparation for even the last 4, not just Hong Kong, it was key for us to get that balance between getting the guys rested and ready for Hong Kong, but also get them coached and trained, so and conditioned. So happy with how the preparations went back at home. Obviously sunny South Africa, so we got quite good weather there. And yeah, and looking forward to the tournament. So hopefully we can get the result this time out.
Thanks coach, and let's hear from Sir Gordon Tietjens, coach of New Zealand.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's in terms of our New New Zealand Sevens, All Black Sevens preparation. We've prepared well. We came a day earlier this year, and we've trained particularly well right throughout the week so far, and we've got through that injury free. And for us, it's always looking forward to competing well in Hong Kong. We've got a particularly tough draw, and also probably it's the nearest that we're going to get to going on to Rio in terms of being a 3-day tournament, and we can use that certainly to hopefully our advantage moving through to Rio later on during the year. But looking forward to it. As we've seen this year, certainly is very competitive at the top. There's 3 teams, 1 point separating each team, and but we're also not forgetting there's 6 or 7 other teams out there that also could be standing up there holding that cup up in Hong Kong on Sunday night. So it's competitive, it's great, and I think the game of sevens is continuing to grow, and what a great place in Hong Kong it is this weekend to really put your hand up and moving forward to Rio. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Coach. We will open the floor to media shortly, but let's move on now to the World Rugby 7 Series qualifier and Coach Gareth Baber, who will let us know about the level of competition facing Hong Kong this year.
Good afternoon. I think just to say that obviously if you have a look across the pools that are in the qualifying tournament, that whereas 2 or 3 years ago you were possibly looking at 3 or 4 teams that could qualify, there's now 5 or 6, which is a great level of competition. Obviously puts added pressure on us as a host nation as well. So we've prepared well as a squad. We've taken a few injuries recently, probably got the opposite issue that Neil has in terms of resting players. Is finding competitions for us to go out there and develop our competitive level to be able to match some of these teams like Japan, Zimbabwe and Brazil, who have had goals in the World Series this year as well. So we know there's a job of work ahead of us. We've planned in trying to prepare to make sure that we're as competitive as we possibly can be, and obviously the players will go out there and do their best to make that happen.
Thank you, Coach. And now let's open the floor to questions from the media.
而家輪到在場嘅傳媒發問嘅時間。
Hi, Talik Harris from AFP. I'd like to ask all coaches, please. Is there a temptation, as it's so close to the Olympics, to hold back a bit to try to protect some of your players from injuries?
From our point of view, no, there's going to be no one holding back this weekend, but you know we all have our own plans in place as far as the Olympics, and we want to be peaking for Rio in the first week of August, and that's I'm sure what all the other guys are planning, with some mini peaks in between, of which this is one for us. So no, I think if you start holding back on the field, you're only going to come second.
Yeah, well, basically what Ben just said, and I think when you hold back is when the injury happens. So we'll definitely go all out and touch with the guys will get through the tournament without any injury.
I've got 24 players that are wanting to go to Rio to be an Olympian, so they're not holding back. They're playing for positions to be in that side to go to Rio, so it really makes it very competitive amongst the squad that I have.
Just further, how competitive, how more competitive has it been this year with the influx of maybe some of the 15s players, and with the goal of Rio coming in? How tough has it been for you guys as coaches to get a game plan in place with the chopping and changing, and to maybe level the enthusiasm of the players that are coming in and want to put themselves in front of you?
I think certainly for us the competition's been increased on the island. You know, we have lost less players overseas this season than we lost in previous seasons, and we obviously have over 100 professional players in France, of which a huge majority have played international sevens for Fiji. All of them want to play in the Olympic Games, but the stark reality is we've got a group of players on the island that are putting their hands up very strongly, and as I've told them, they win back-to-back tournaments this week, then that debate becomes less of a large one of bringing in those overseas players. We've got a plan B. Some of them will play in the last 2 tournaments. One's playing this weekend, but the competition's high because, you know, I'm sure the other nations are the same, but for Fiji, the rugby sevens is a religion, and an Olympic gold medal of any sort has never been won and these boys obviously want to write their name in stone.
Yeah, I think obviously the competition, good, healthy competition in your system is always good, and you bring out the best in individuals. So even the 15th guys coming in, like you saw Peter and Joanne, especially in those first two tournaments, really brought enthusiasm to that squad. And I think, like Gordon said, there will be 20 to 24 players actually playing for that forward position in that 12. So, and like in regards to the coaching, obviously it's a little bit harder coaching to get those 15 players up to speed and get them the basics of sevens first before you go on to the detail of the game. So I think a lot of time spent not just on the field with those players coming in, but also off the field and going through presentations and clips.
The biggest challenge that we also have is for those 15-a-side players, we currently have 4 or 5 of them playing Super Rugby at the moment, is when they come back into the sevens and making that transition. But we've allowed enough time for them to make that transition, and of course to be good at this game you've got to be playing it and training it. So some of those players have been part of our 2 tournaments in Sydney and New Zealand, and they'll come to the last 2 tournaments as well.
Hey, Bulla, I'm Bruce from Fiji. I just want to ask you guys generically, like, at the moment I've watched sevens for probably close to a decade now and shooting it, but I notice as the games evolve, the competition, the impact, but what I want to know is, like, in your squads, like, you've got a wider squad now, so I take it now brotherhood and friendship and stuff is in the squad, but as it gets to the sharper end towards Rio, how do you keep the fine line between friendship, yet you do want to kill each other to get in that team? What do you do mentally to bring the best out of your team, but yet keep the friendship and the bonds that are going to make you more competitive or better? Sorry,
no, that's okay, Bruce. I guess for Fiji it's a little bit different. We don't do touch very well in training, so it's always full contact when we play. And I've never witnessed a fight in the 3 years. They'll knock lumps out of each other on the field and share a boo afterwards, and it won't make a difference to cultures. So it is like that. They'll go hard for each other, and when we play domestically against each other in local competitions, all the Fijian players get a bit more treatment than the rest of the club players. So for us, the culture is a big advantage for us to build that team and that field.
Yeah, I think for us as well, I think culture is number one thing, even for the 15th players coming in. If we don't fit into the culture, we promised our currently contracted 7th squad that we'll send them home, and like Ben said, it's full out on the field, and I think that's what family stands for. If you have that tussle with your brother, you shake hands afterwards and you go on, and that's important for us to have that brotherhood and family inside as well.
Yeah, the culture in any sevens team is quite unique, and you find the players as competitive as it is, and compete for spots. And the game has changed; it's very physical now, and but there's also that measure of respect that the players have for each other, and I think that's a real key. And of course, being competitive makes it healthy. And I know when I name my side to go to Rio, there'll be 14 players that will certainly deserve their spots.
Else?
Gareth, can I just get you to talk a little bit about when you realised Max wasn't going to come through, and also the 3 new players you've got in the team making their debuts this weekend and what they bring to the party?
Yes, obviously, I suppose all the coaches have dealt with it. We get an injury that you try and get back into play, but it takes a while to get done. You had sort of 2 weeks to try and get himself there, but didn't heal in time. It's always had to lose a captain, especially this close. He'd been his second Hong Kong Sevens, the first one as captain, and he's a Hong Kong kid, and that's important to him. But equally, there's 3 boys that have come in and now we're going to take up the slack in terms of that. 3 boys, James Cunningham is a forward, he gives us a bit more of an aerial strength. Toby Fenn again, who's some good robustness about him, good ball carrier, works hard. And a gentleman by the name of Ryan Meacham who provides some pace as well, which obviously we need as much as we can on the field if possible. But yeah, the team know it's a loss for us. But equally so, as I say, the coaches have dealt with it beside me before. You lose somebody and it's time for somebody else to step up. It's an opportunity for other players to, as Neil says, to come into that family and earn their spurs, and that's what we'll be looking at this weekend.
Ben, you mentioned the weather conditions back in Fiji. Could you just describe what your players have been going through recently, in recent weeks, and what their feelings are, you know, with the current situation as well, with another cyclone coming?
Yeah. Well, obviously there's cyclones, and then there was Cyclone Winston, which I think was the second largest storm in the history of recording storms around the world, and it's caused devastation through the country, and it's continued to do so. Boys lost houses, families lost livelihoods, and 5% of the population is without a roof over their heads at the moment, and there's a food shortage. So to be hit by a Category 3 cyclone in the next few hours is only going to set back all of that, plus the Zika virus that's gone through tens of thousands of people in the last 2 weeks. It's not been a lucky time for Fiji, and the boys obviously have been affected on a personal level from that. But saying that, Fijians are incredibly resilient, and the boys are very much of, well, you know, we didn't have much to start with and we'll start again, and they've not moaned about it, they've not complained about it, and we certainly won't use it as an excuse for any lack of preparation. You know, we're as well prepared as any of the other sides, and the boys will have perhaps a little bit more motivation, but it's you know, I hope over the next few hours that the cyclone, which is only a Category 3, which still is 200 kilometres an hour, at least holds off a little bit better than Winston did, and gives the country a bit more time to repair.
Right, anybody else? Okay, I think that's it then, ladies and gentlemen. To our coaches, thank you very much for attending today and giving your time and for your support of the Cathay Pacific HSBC Hong Kong Sevens.
今日嘅記者招待會已經到咗尾聲，多謝大家出席今日嘅活動，仲要多謝大家對國泰